Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the number one source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Goldilocks Global Banking News. I am your host. Folks, I'm sure many of you already know by now that it is going to be gold that backs our currencies in the new banking system in order for the revaluation of currencies to happen. Right now, Goldilocks is reporting and showing that there is an unprecedented amount of gold that central banks are buying as a result of this war. It is as if there is some sort of frenzy that has caused these central banks to purchase more gold than they have before. And there are many countries, most countries, if not all, that have bought a record amount of gold in the last several years. But for some reason, this war has caused them to go on another buying frenzy. Let's jump right into what Goldilocks is sharing today. As Goldilocks has often said, gold will set us free. The escalating conflict with Iran has now caused a significant disruption in global markets, inclusive of global currencies. The key effects include sharp rises on oil prices due to the fears of supply disruptions of oil, like at the Strait of Hormuz, which have reignited inflation fears. For the last several days, Goldilocks has been sharing a lot about this because Goldilocks has access to see Forex rates and markets in the global financial system, the global shift in precious metals. Higher energy costs feed into broader price pressures on assets such as foreign currencies, hitting stock markets as well. In response to this, Goldilocks is reporting that money is shifting heavily again to gold by central banks, including all of the central banks from around the world. Gold has been a major beneficiary, with prices surging with gold over $5,400 per ounce. In the short term, the US dollar has indeed dominated as a safe haven, drawing inflows and panic. However, the safe haven now is weighting heavily towards gold. Goldilocks is showing that even major news outlets are reporting that a long-term trend is kicking in by countries picking up more and more movement to purchase gold, especially in emerging markets from emerging market countries. Many people don't even know the currencies that they hold in this investment are emerging market countries. Therefore, emerging market currencies. It is as if they know something we don't know, and they absolutely do. But when it comes to investing, when it comes to understanding what you invest in, it's always known best to follow the money. The money is now flowing even more so heavily towards gold. Why? Also because more countries are ditching the US dollar for their own currencies backed by gold. Central banks have been accumulating gold at a record level for the last several years, pushing gold to a total value in reserves over $4 trillion. Goldilocks is stating that in summary of this, the Iran conflict has amplified immediate fears, boosting short term gold flows. I don't look at this as a coincidence. I look at it as a plan. But it's also reinforcing a structural, speculative preference for gold heavy nations as central banks hedge long term against dollar dominance. As previously stated before, in the world, Iraq ranks the 29th in the world. There's 190 countries. Iraq ranks 29th in gold reserves. Just 3 months ago, they purchased another almost 11,000 tons of gold. They rank fourth. Iraq ranks fourth in the Middle East in gold reserves. Goldilocks is stating that there are conditions that are being reported by major news outlets that Iran is challenging the petrodollar with the Strait of Hormuz. What if again, this is a plan? That Iran is just playing a part in their role on the global stage. Goldilocks is asking, how would Iran reliably confirm these payments in yuan, in the Chinese yuan, rather than dollars? Logistical hurdles from real-time documentation for tankers amid high-risk waterways shows that there's a plan in place. Overall, Goldilocks is stating, the idea highlights vulnerabilities of currency-dependent checkpoints, where now countries are looking at an alternative to purchase their oil other than the US dollar. Again, what if this is all a plan? Nothing in the global banking system, nothing in the geopolitical world happens by happenstance. The disruption from this oil checkpoint, the Strait of Hormuz, even if military conflict ends swiftly, is too late. What has already been created by this shutdown will be long term. Even mine sweeping operations, verification of safe channels, and the restoration of maritime confidence will require weeks or months of time. The delays will stem from a complexity of locating landmines, water mines. In this context, the question arises whether the primary actors, particularly Iran, as the nation controlling access and imposing conditions on passage, will need to upgrade their payment systems digitally. With Iran having to upgrade their payment systems digitally, that is their onboarding of the new banking system. Is this all planned? The upgrade or the acceleration of the shift, Goldilocks is stating, becomes necessary. Is this all planned? Iran's oil exports have long relied on workarounds to bypass U.S. financial networks such as the SWIFT system, which all the other central banks of countries around the world are connected to. Is this all planned? Traditional dollar based payments expose transactions to sanctions. Is this all planned? During disruptions, Goldilocks is stating, like the current crisis, Iran has reportedly conditioned safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz settlements in only the Chinese yuan, not the US dollar. This pressure highlights the limitations of Iran's existing patchwork system, often involving shadow fleets, also often shadowing fake oil transactions like they've done with Iraq, where they move Iran oil through Iraq's ports, but have it labeled Iraq oil. What if this is a cleanup job that's actually being masked as a shutdown of a major checkpoint in the global oil markets? A digital upgrade would involve shifting toward more structured, efficient alternatives that reduce reliance on vulnerable legacy systems. Integration with China's cross border interbank payment system will be necessary. What if this is to onboard this new payment system that's necessary for global currencies to move through? When 90% of Iraq's oil moves through there, 20% of the world's oil moves through there. What if this is a plan? In short, Goldilocks is stating, the Strait of Hormuz aftermath doesn't just delay physical oil flows, it forces a reckoning with outdated payment infrastructure systems, pushing Iran and potentially aligning exporters towards a new digital advanced system that didn't exist before. Is this all a plan? For those that have foreign currencies, this plan that it sure enough looks like is in place will truly benefit us all in the time coming. Stay up, stay well, stay in love, beautiful folks. Ciao.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the number one source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.